Hello, this is Olivia Robinson of Ideal Choice Senior Concierge. Our passage of scripture today can be found in Philemon, the 6th verse, and this is from the New Living Translation. And I am praying that you will put into action the generosity that comes from your faith as you understand and experience all the good things we have in Christ.
Greetings, members of my Every.Black family and guests. I am Michelle Nicole Taylor, artist, children's book author and illustrator, and an interviewer for the Dr. Joe L. Dudley Senior Legacy Project. I will be introducing our speaker for this evening, Miss Priscilla Christie, founder of Discovering You. Miss Christie will share a presentation focused on empowering women in different sectors of the business world. She will talk about the importance of understanding what one's goals are and of having a strong desire to achieve them. She believes that using your inner strength to achieve success is the most powerful spiritual connection you will ever experience. Her presentation will speak to building character and inner strength, and she will share some personal experiences that have led to her success. Miss Christie's company, Discovering You, specializes in business coaching, consulting, marketing, branding, and leadership development. Listening to and understanding her clients' goals has been the key to helping them build successful businesses. Helping clients to build and navigate their business through our complex society has been rewarding for her. In 2022, she gave a speech about hybrid employees for over 300 people, which inspired management to find a way to acclimatize to the condition of the workplace and continue to produce positive results. She is a board member of the Palo Alto Chamber of Commerce and a member of the Monterey Chamber of Commerce. Her passion is to be the best version of herself by achieving goals to connect with and help people. Miss Priscilla Christie, founder and owner of Discovering You, Every.Black welcomes you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's very nice. Thank you. So, hi everyone. My name is Priscilla Christie. I'm the owner of Discovering You. My website is discoveringyoumarketing.com. Before I get started here, I'll tell you a little bit about me. Was born and raised in California. I've been out here all my life. I have 3 beautiful children. I come from a wonderful family, a father that was a police officer and a mother that was a housewife, that I could resonate with Aretha and probably a couple other women about how we were raised, how my mother raised her daughters to grow up, get married to someone with money and have that person take care of you. Well, I was always rebellious. I've always had my own dreams, and I've always had higher expectations of myself. So what happened is at the age of 17, I left home. I did get married. I had my first child at 18, my second child at 19. And I never had a need or a want for anything because I did marry that man with money. I can honestly say, by me not listening to my heart and following what someone else wanted for me, led me to a divorce after 4 years. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. I was able to go back to school and actually get a degree in something that made me happy. All my life, my whole entire being has been to help other people. I started out in college. I went back to school, went to college, started out in the medical program. My first thought was to be a doctor. Then my second thought was to be a nurse. And that all changed one day when I touched on science. I became a clinical laboratory scientist because I love science. And I felt like I could help more people in the science world. I'm here today talking about my personal life, and what led me to where I am today was inner strength, knowing who I was. At a very young age, I did develop a sense of self-awareness. I didn't understand what it was, but I knew that once I got married and I had this dream life, I was not content. There was something missing in me, something that only I could fulfill, something that only I could help myself understand and fix. Having a strong desire to achieve your goals says a lot about you as a person. It's one thing to dream. It's another thing to actually be able to see those dreams and manifest them into reality. When I was divorced by the age of 22, I was a single mom with 2 kids. I never, ever, ever walked around and let other people know how hard it was for me being a single mom in college, 2 kids, and working a full-time job. I never, ever saw myself as a victim. I've never seen myself as anything but a determined person. And I always tell people, God never gives you more than you can handle. And I have people say, well, I don't believe in God. Well, you must believe in something in order to grow. We're put on this earth with purpose, each and every human being. A part of that purpose is having a desire and a drive to be somebody, and not just be somebody and exist in this world, but to be somebody and give back. You don't have to be rich to give back. You don't have to be, a go-getter. What you do have to be is accepting of other people to give back. Once I was able to find my inner strength, I worked in a lab for over 23 years, helping discover different types of mutations with fungus to help people get better, to help fight blood infections, blood diseases. I felt like I was giving back so much. And then COVID hit. COVID changed my mind. Here we go again. God had a different plan for me. I thought I was on the right track. I thought, okay, this is my life. I'm happy. I'm making great money. Kids are doing great. What more do I want? Well, God had another plan. COVID hit. At the start of COVID, personally for me, having a science background in mind, I didn't trust what I was being told because I had the science to tell me something else. So I stepped out of my position and I started my own company. I started my own company knowing that I was never going to fail, knowing that no matter how tough it got for me, it was only going to make me push myself harder to achieve my goal. This is not a goal that I've had all my life. This was a goal that was given to me. A voice came to me when I was contemplating, should I continue to move forward in the medical field, or should I just step away and just do something different? A voice came to me and told me it was time for me to start my own business, to give back in another way. So what I did is I started my company, Discovering You. I started Discovering You. My whole goal was to help people as a life coach discover themselves. What I ended up doing is discovering me in the process and who I am. And that came about with helping other people, listening to them, and helping them figure out their goals, their dreams, their desires. What I found is that a lot of people dream, but for something happens in their life that causes them to put their own personal dreams on hold. It's almost like, in my personal opinion, it's almost like they're on the right track and there's something that's telling them no, and they listen. If you stick to your goals, you stick to your dreams, you stick to what makes you happy. It's not an act of selfishness. It's an act of determination And it's an act of willpower. You will achieve. You will achieve your dreams. My mom used to say something to me, and it always stuck with me. Not everybody dreams, Priscilla, she used to say, because your dream, those who dream, their dreams are a gift from God, God showing them exactly where they're going, what they can have if they put their mind to it and they focus and they work. I believe that. So I've always told my clients, if you're blessed enough to dream, you are blessed enough to succeed in life. I have no fear of failure because with my God, with what my faith, with every challenge that I've had in my life from the age of 17 all the way up till now, God has walked me through it. So I have no fear. My goal this evening is to help people, women in general, understand the power that they have as individuals to achieve their goals and their dreams. And of course, men too. I see there's men on the panel too. But that is my goal this evening. The reason I'm telling you a little bit about my past is because I wasn't born into wealth. I wasn't born into money. I had to pay my way through college. And I had it pretty tough being a single mom at the age of 22 with 2 kids. But it never stopped me because in my head, there was nothing I could not do. And I've always thought that. I'm hoping with my presentation this evening, I'm able to help women, especially women, but everyone, build character and inner strength. Find your voice. Find your passion. Find your strength and see it through. We're all born with it. When we don't use it, we lose it. Don't allow someone else's opinion of you to take away from what God has blessed you with. We're all born with a gift, some type of gift. My gift is to give back. How I give back is through my hard work. So I started out as a life coach after working in a medical field for 23 years, science. As a life coach, I rolled it over into business coaching. I realized I have a knack for helping people build businesses. So I went from one thing to another thing. Within 2 years, I went from just me, my company, to a company of 8 people, in which have the same passion as I do in regards to helping other people. So my business, Discovering You, focuses on business coaching, helping businesses, new businesses build. So I do your coaching, we do consulting, we do marketing, and we do branding. I have no doubt, as long as my heart is in the right place, I can always, and I will always be able to help people achieve their dreams. This comes with a spiritual connection. I'm just going to say that. I would not be where I'm at today if I did not have faith. I grew up in a Pentecostal household. My mom is from Shreveport, Louisiana. My dad, of course, is a California guy, was born and raised in California. Both my mom and my dad raised all of us in church. No matter how tough times got, we were always told to have faith. What I deal with my clients, and I have clients in the IT world. In California, everyone is in IT or everyone's in the medical field. There's always, something's always happening that's major. And these people are under so much stress to where they need something. And what they need, they want me to give it to them. And the only thing I can give them is I say, have faith. And I had this one client last week said, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. And I said, well, maybe that's part of the problem. if you had a little faith, you wouldn't be struggling this much. You just give it to God or give it to Allah, give it to somebody, because obviously you can't handle it. And he looked at me and he started laughing. He says, I can't believe you just said that to me. And I said, try it. I didn't owe him an explanation. I told him exactly how I felt. I have faith. I'm here today because I believe that God has purpose for each and every one of us. You don't build a business on good looks or materialistic stuff. You build a business on hard work and determination. And smarts is I think has a lot to do with luck with me. I don't know. I didn't know anything about building a business, but God guided me here. Faith is the most important thing. And I do believe, once again, we're all born with gifts. You either use them or you lose them. If you don't know what your gift is, it doesn't hurt to ask people. If you have people around you who are constantly telling you, wow, you're really good at that, go for that. Try starting a business in that. Or if you have a business and you say, you know, no matter what I do, it's just not working, then back up, talk to God. Because there's nothing, no life coach, no business coach, nobody can do for you that God can't. When people ask me, honestly, how did you get to where you're at, Priscilla? You started out poor and you ended up, I'm not rich, but I'm rich in a lot of other ways. How did I get here? God, my faith, and my hard work and determination to believe that anything I put my mind to, I can achieve. I was a young mother, pregnant at 17, my first kid at 18, second kid at 19. Here I sit today, a business growing. I have placed products in stores. I don't have some big fancy degree in marketing or any of that stuff, but I know the right people. I'm smart enough to whatever I don't know, I will find somebody that does know, or I have somebody on my team that knows. I don't need to know everything. I just need to be smart enough to surround myself with the people who do. And that's what I tell my clients. And they appreciate it. They like it. I don't play smart. I'm good at what I do. I'm really good at, but there's a lot I don't know how to do. And I don't pretend. I will always have people around me who are smarter than I am in a lot of areas, because that makes me stronger. I love learning. I love pushing myself, and I love helping others. I can't help you if I'm constantly trying to be the best at everything. I can't. I don't want to be the best at everything. I want to be the best at one thing, and I want to know everybody else who's the best at least one or two things that I can rely on, because that is my strength. And I ask God every day of my life to surround me with those kind of people so that I can grow and I can help my clients grow. So today I'm here talking to you about building a business, about inner strength, about finding yourself. Finding yourself is the most important thing. I've never had a point in my life where I said, you know what, you're just not good enough, Priscilla. Oh my God, Priscilla, you can't do it. I've always had those moments that said, you know what, you're being freaking lazy. That's too much wine this evening you're having. You need to relax a little bit, take it easy and let it go. I always have this point in my life. It comes every 6 months, my kids tell me, where I do have to step outside of my world and just reevaluate my priorities. Because sometimes when you're building a business and you're going 100 miles per hour, you tend to lose focus. I talk to God every day, but sometimes I talk to him on a rush basis, like, okay, God, all right, I know God, but I need this now. And that's not good. And when I do that one too many times, I feel like God reels me back in by something happening in my life that makes me stop and go, whoa, I really need you, God. And it stops me from being arrogant and not recognizing that God is always present in my life, no matter how big or how small my successes are. God is always present. And God is even more present when I'm stressed out and I can't take it and I want to walk away. God is even more present in my life. I've given speeches for the WIC program. I give them every year. Last year I spoke in Louisiana. This year I spoke in Maine. Prior to that, I did a speaking engagement in Greece for PMI. My speaking engagements target one thing: self-confidence. Because no matter what we do in this world, if we don't have self-confidence, we can't grow. Not only do you need self-confidence, you also need to be able to see who you truly are. You can't have self-confidence and be arrogant. God wants us to humble ourselves. No matter how big we get, no matter how much money we make, if you carry yourself with humility, you will attract people that are like that. I do believe we're all sources of energy. We're put on this earth to give. And a lot of us don't even know that. We're put on this earth to give. You don't have to give money. You can give energy. If you have a good being, if you have a good sense of caring, that energy will resonate into the universe and you will draw those kind of people to you. I do believe in that. I believe if you walk around as a victim, you will draw those kind of people to you. There's 1 million victims on this earth. There's maybe more than 1 million victims, I'm sure, but not everybody has to be a victim. We all carry, some part of us is a victim. You either give it to God, let it go, or you carry it as a badge of honor. And believe it or not, people will see that. And people will, instead of empower you, they'll feel sorry for you. And what does that do? It doesn't help you grow. It takes away from who you truly are. Our strength is our passion. Our success is our faith. We are all sources of energy. You want to grow, you want to build, you want to accomplish things. You have to know who you are and what you truly want. And it may not come overnight, but I'm one of these people, I say, try it. If you don't try it, you don't know. If you don't know, you may never grow. Behind me is a famous quote from Martin Luther King. And I love it because he spoke highly, not just for the Black people, but for every human being. I love it. It's inspiring. And for some reason, I can't remember what it says. It's right behind me, but I will tell you, it's something positive, and I love it. Let me take a look. The time is always the right time to do the right thing. And to me, that speaks volumes of who we are as human beings and how we project our energy in the world. You can either walk through the world with your head held high, with a positive attitude, or you could walk in this world as a victim and have people constantly make you feel less, because most people don't realize that that's what happens when you're a victim. People pity you. They don't praise you, they pity you. I want to be praised. I don't want to be pitied. And I know people don't understand that, but it's very common, especially in today's society. So when I'm talking to people and I'm helping people to develop, that's one of the things I listen for. If you're a victim and you want to be heard, or you want people to see you as a victim, you're going to tell people as much stuff about you that's irrelevant to who you truly are in the big scheme of things. And the reason I say it's irrelevant, it's because you're going to have them judge you and base you on something that you could overcome or you could pull yourself out of. It's a choice. It's a choice. And I don't want to insult anyone or make anyone feel less. I really don't. What I want to do is I'm trying to help people understand the power that we all have to be leaders, to be successful, to be entrepreneurs. You will never meet an entrepreneur that talks about his past or her past with a victim mentality. You will meet them that talks about how they're glad they went through it because here they are today. I believe Aretha was one of the ladies I heard this evening, and I was really impressed. I said, I like that. I like the fact that she can put it out there, but she also lets people know where her past has led her to where she is today. I love that. I love it when people can see beyond the pain and they can actually see who they are. That is growth. That is not only mental growth, that's spiritual growth, which is more powerful than anything. So with that, I know I talked a lot about me, but if anyone has any questions that they would like to ask me about feeling empowered and finding yourself, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Well, thank you, Priscilla. And I think you're going to get a lot of comments and questions tonight. We have speakers every week. And a lot of times speakers will give us a lot of great information about their business or doing things, but very few have poured themselves out to us personally, has been as transparent as you've been. And I think it's very powerful. And I don't want to thank you for doing that, because, your story, a lot of times we don't want to tell people what we're going through, but your story, I'm sure, resonates with a lot of folks here, whether they're in the meeting or online. So I know we got some questions. Aretha she's the first one with her hand raised. So.
My heart is beating so fast right now. I'm trying to control myself. Y'all, don't let me forget about my son's pepperoni pizza in the oven right now. Please don't let me forget, because I can be long-winded, but right now, Mrs. or Miss?
Miss
Priscilla.
Miss.
Miss Priscilla Christie.
Yes,
right now, I was meant to be right here, right now.
Praise God, yes.
You touch my heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, if only people knew. And I know God put me here to hear you and to see what he has for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm that lady. As the past, but I'm emotional now because of how God used it. It wasn't even I didn't even do it. It was God's purpose for my life. And for me to be back in my hometown, you mentioned Shreveport, Louisiana. I'm right now in Monroe, Louisiana. This is my hometown. So I know what God is doing right now. I invited a gentleman. He's back on. I want to just say, Asar, let me tell you something. Me and you talked on the phone for 2.5 hours today. God is you. I'm just letting them do it, Miss Priscilla. I'm letting God do it in my life. For the first time in my life, I'm letting them do it. And man, let me tell you, I've done some things, but I can't touch what God is doing in my life right now. It ain't
He's more
all
powerful than we think. And Aretha, you know what the best thing for you to do? Embrace it. Embrace it.
and that's what I'm doing. I would never been back and you know how I'm embracing it? I got a lease here after being gone over 25 years. My son told me it's been a year and a month or two, my sister has been passed. And my son told me leaving, Mom, I think it's time for us to come home. See, y'all finna let me forget about my son's pizza. Come with me.
Nope.
Come with
Send you a
Aretha,
reminder.
Aretha, check on your pizza, and we'll be here. We want to give everyone a chance to go into breakout rooms so you can interact with one another as well. So that's why I don't mean to be rude, but I'm trying to move us along a
Oh no,
little
I
bit.
know I'm long-winded. You're gonna have to stop me because I will do a testimony, but most definitely go ahead and let others.
Okay, what kind of pizza is it?
It's pepperoni. He loves pepperoni.
Okay. Is there anyone else that has comments or questions or want to share something? Linda?
Okay.
Okay, Linda, and then Brave Manifestations.
Hi, Miss Christie.
Hi there.
You said something so powerful to me, and I got some of it, but not all of it, where you said your strength is your passion and the blank is your faith. What was that you had said? Can you remember?
Your belief is your faith. Your
Okay.
belief.
Belief in
strength.
yourself?
Yes.
Belief in God.
I've learned, Linda, in my life, and maybe it's a little bit of arrogance, and God forgive me. I don't care what people think of me. I've worked my whole life, and I've always been in situations where I was the only Black person. And of course, it put pressure on me to outshine everybody else. And it's not that I walked in there seeing myself as the only Black person, but I'm not blind. I can see, when you're in a room, you call a spade a spade. And I knew that it didn't matter what anyone else thought of me, as long as I knew who I was and I knew my capabilities.
Right.
That is just how I live my life.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Okay, thank you. Your message was just so inspiring. It really was.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Brave Manifestations, and then Dr. Joy, and then we're going to stop there because I really want to give you a chance to interact with one another.
Yes, sir. Thank you. This is Nakia. So I just want to say, Ms. Priscilla, thank you very much for your authenticity and transparency. I actually had a conversation with myself this evening because my passion and my mission is for the Black professional single mother, empowering her to manifest her dreams and rediscover herself before she became that mom and live out the things that matter to her. And as a single mother, that's having to do it all, having to have a community of people that I can reach out to. Sometimes that community isn't there. And I have just been doing so much that I'm exhausted. I'm tired, right? And so I was like, okay, well, Lord, what am I supposed to be doing? I'm tired. I really need a break. I need to rest. I have so much more that I have to do before I get to where I need to be. And I just feel like just being still, sitting down, just giving up for a little bit. and I know we have to empower ourselves just as much as we're empowering others. And that is what I stand on, and that is what I believe in. But you having this conversation with us on this evening, it was meant for me to be on this call because this is actually my first call. And that just reaffirmed what I'm doing, and I'm fulfilling the purpose that God has for me. And I know that I'm in the right direction and on the right path. And I just thank you for sharing this evening because it really did make a difference. And I had to pick up my laptop and just start working on some things. And I said, okay, I'm going to pause because I still have to take care of me first. And I firmly know this and I believe this. So I just want to say thank you for making a difference in my listening to myself and my listening to Christ, who is my Father and my everything. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome and thank you. Appreciate
And then,
that.
and we have Dr. Joy. And one thing I was going to say too, and forgive me, I know it's brave manifestations that's in my head, but sometimes when I feel overwhelmed, I just focus on just one thing. What's one? Because otherwise, if I think about all the stuff, then I end up not doing anything. If I just think about one thing, just do one thing, and then do one thing. Dr. Joy.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for taking my question. Thank you, Priscilla, for an excellent presentation today. And I wanted to get your feedback on something. I'm really hoping to connect with Brave Manifestations because that's also my dream, to create something strong and meaningful for single mothers. Because I think that there's so many areas that we need support and society doesn't offer that. So I definitely want to connect with Brave Manifestations at some point. But I wanted to get your feedback on, I remember when you were talking about being seen as a victim and how some people may pity you. But my thought is, I feel like my story connects me to the people that I'm trying to help. When I tell them that, yes, I'm a single mom too. Yes, I'm it for my son. I'm it. That's I'm it. I am the parent. There's nobody else. So I feel like some people would say, "Oh, Joy, you're being a victim." But in my mind, I'm thinking that's my connection to the people I want to inspire and the people that I want to help grow. So I guess my question to you is like, do you have any suggestions on how to share your story, connect with your clientele, but not be perceived as a quote unquote victim? Because I don't want anyone to leave with that thought about me.
Well, first of all, when I tell my story,
Mhm.
I tell my story very seldom, to be honest. And the reason why is because my job does not require my story. My job requires me to do a good job. The only time I tell my story is to connect with someone on that level. Remember what I said about our energy, that energy you're putting out. So if I'm talking to a vice president or president of a company, I'm not going to tell him my life story. That's none of his business, because I'm connecting with him on a different level. If I'm connecting with someone with life coaching and I'm talking to them, they're telling me about their childhood, of course I'll tell them bits and pieces of my story. The one thing people have to understand is nobody's going to understand your story the way you understand your story. So you don't tell your story to just anybody unless you want to be judged. It's human nature to judge. You see somebody walking across the street and they're dressed a certain way. Even though you're not, judgmental, and I'm going to do my air quotes on that, you are going to have an opinion about that person. Every human being is judgmental to a certain degree. If you want to be judged, if you don't want to be judged, be careful who you put your story out there to. To connect with someone, you can connect to them differently. If you need to connect to them by telling your story, then do it in a way to where you are not a victim. I was a single mom. Once again, nobody knew I was a single mom because it was on a need to know basis. As outgoing as I am, I'm very private about a lot of things. First of all, I didn't want somebody to, try to hurt my kids because they knew that my kids were home by themselves. So I use my better judgment when I shared my story with whomever I shared it with.
Thank you.